Everybody good, Box?
Mm-hmm. Shut up, Sam.
Jeez, I offended you, apparently. Well, let's get this thing rolling, guys.
I'm offended.
I believe this is episode 23. 23. Welcome to episode 23 of the Life Short Live Free podcast. I'm your host, Sam. We got Johnson next to me, Toad down there, and Box across the way. We're a podcast all about freedom. We just we usually go out and do some range day shooting and stuff. We did something a little bit different today. We're going to be kind of changing our direction on the videos a little bit occasionally here.
Just trying something new. We're not just gonna completely abandon the range days, but we're gonna try something new and kind of do a little alternate every once in a while. So
just to switch things up a little bit, but it was a good day. And actually, I bet this today and the last range day were probably the nicest range days we've had in
a couple months, because it's been
4 months, and it's the middle of frickin' February.
Yeah, it's been warm. It's been
just
nice.
Ridiculous. What are you giggling about over there, Toad?
The only crappy part is that it's...
Did you shit your pants again?
God damn it.
I'm seriously going to kick your ass out. Well, I'm not. I'm going to kick your ass out.
Oh, man.
Good God. So, of course, this podcast is sponsored by Schiwerk Cerakote. We are Cerakote certified, and Iowa's Iowa's customer preferred applicator of Cerakote. Give us a shout at schiwerks.com or on our Facebook or Instagram. We pretty much respond to any of them. So
this is why we can't have nice things.
Also, if anybody's interested in sponsoring the podcast as a bigger sponsor and giving us a whole new studio, we'd greatly appreciate it. We're kind of cramped in here, and Toad's been
there's not enough volume of air in this area.
I'm gonna have to go turn the fan on in the paint booth. So, anyways, how you guys? How's your week been? Anything new and extraordinary, or
not really? Just getting everything ready for the baby. So we're getting awfully close on that, and got the nursery all done, and starting to make sure we have everything put together. Got our hospital bags ready and ready to rip.
God, that stinks. I fucking hate you, Toad.
It does.
If you do that again, I'm seriously putting you on the patio.
That's musty. It's like it's been in there for a week.
Yeah, with a lot of beer.
Sheesh.
Toad got pretty well schnockered last night, so he's...
I wasn't pretty well schnockered. I was probably legally dead.
God.
Yeah, nasty. But Box, what's new with you, man?
Literally nothing. I don't know if you know this, but I lead a very ordinary life.
All right.
Actually,
I bought a new trigger a few weeks ago, but that's been a while back. My 320.
Have you shot it yet?
Gray guns? No, I have not.
Why didn't you bring it with?
I don't know. We had other things to do.
He forgot. Don't let him fool you.
I didn't forget. I didn't even think about it.
Yeah.
Toad, what's new with you other than your foul-smelling ass?
I smell foul. You most certainly do.
Not much.
Wow. Excellent.
We're
Excellent.
really f***ing boring.
I'm super sleepy right now.
You guys are absolutely horrible at this point.
Really? What's new with you, Sam?
Well,
what's so exciting in your life?
Oh, actually, I lead a pretty exciting life. We're going to talk a little bit about my job here shortly at Schiwerk, some of the badass shit I got going on there. As far as things in my personal life, it's pretty boring. All I do is work.
Right.
But we went down to Dusky's last night and had a pretty good time. Had some toddies. Was a little hungover this morning. But I've had a lot worse.
Is that why you were 35 minutes late to shooting?
I'm always 35 minutes late.
Well, I mean, you're usually 15 minutes late, but you were extra late this morning.
Yeah. Well, I text you at
least.
You
know, when Toad texts me and calls me, and when he calls me, he sounds like death warmed over. He's like, "Hey, what time were we shooting this morning?" I said, "In 5 minutes, Toad." "Oh, well, I guess I better pack up and get going then." Yeah, guess what? He still beat you by about 15 minutes.
Yeah. I was a little bit slow moving today, but, what you gonna do?
Hey, you can't rush a good morning poop.
Yeah, that's exactly right, man. It's just, you got to give it time. So, anyways, why is everybody's kind of slow and boring and not fun? Let's do it.
I'm impatiently waiting for whiskey.
Let's spice it up a little bit with our
impatiently waiting
whiskey
of the week.
Yeah, what do we got today? This was provided by Toad down there.
Actually, this was my Valentine's Day present from my girlfriend, and it is called Russell's Reserve Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. This is a 10-year-old bottle. Yeah.
And?
90 proof, made by Jimmy and Eddie Russell. And I believe it's brewed and bottled by the...
Wild Turkey.
Yes. So, and I hate Wild Turkey.
All right, well.
But you didn't hate this.
I didn't hate it.
Which is surprising because Toad is hated.
Every
I would bet you 75% of our whiskeys of the week he's not liked. Usually he goes
right.
I'll probably do that with this one today too, because this is a really horrible idea. Me drinking alcohol.
No, actually, it's a scientifically proven idea that it's called or hair of the dog, and then it'll clear you right up.
4 fingers, Toad.
Yeah, no, that's good enough.
What is? I never understood that. What is that?
How much?
Is that means like this?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Okay,
yeah.
Interesting. Can I?
How did you not put that together?
Can I have some of that?
Would you like 4 fingers?
No, I just would like one,
what about
please.
2?
I'll just take one. If I like it, I'll have some more. Oh, that seems.
Glug, glug, glug.
All right.
It's about a finger.
It is.
Why does that sound dirty?
Because you think everything's dirty.
Yeah,
I just want to splash there, Toad.
Yep. It's got a decent nose on it. What is this? Does that say Kentucky bourbon whiskey?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
What's the difference between Kentucky bourbon whiskey and like a Tennessee whiskey?
It's not made in Kentucky.
Well, no shit, but I'm saying, is there like, can you generally taste differences in the two? You think, or they just pretty much is what it is?
I don't know.
Whiskey Kentucky snobs probably claim they can.
Right. Kentucky bourbon. I know there's a lot of rules and regulations around Kentucky bourbon, like straight Kentucky bourbon.
Mm-hmm.
So that it has to be a certain percentage of Kentucky raised whatever. What is it in bourbon? Wheat, barley? What the hell is it?
I don't know.
I don't remember. But whatever the grain is, it has to be there's a minimum percentage of Kentucky raised whatever it is.
I'm pretty sure
it has to be brewed in
the old leaves of the bourbon tree.
Oh.
No. No, I'm not a fan of this stuff.
But that's to be considered Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, it has to be like locally sourced in Kentucky. And a certain percentage. So.
Interesting. Yeah, I tried this. It's I mean, it's not bad whiskey by any means, but it's I don't think it's gonna knock over any of our ones on the podium.
It smells good.
I'm just trying to figure out what it is that Toad likes in a whiskey.
It's completely random. There's
what do you think
no rhyme or reason.
I noticed this had a little bit of a burn. Do you like the burn? I mean, it's not.
That's what I hate, and I
didn't
think this had much of a burn.
It's not much, no, but I think it's more than.
That's usually what I hate. That and the bitter taste that
makes you go.
Yeah, triggers the old gag reflex.
Box, did you try it yet?
Yes, I did. It's not bad.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna knock off number 9. Slipknot number 9.
I don't think so either. That's way too smooth.
You did do good, though.
Really. Yeah,
this is good.
Yeah, it's a good whiskey by absolutely. But
yeah,
what else?
What
else would it contend with?
Oh, probably like Eagle Rare and Old Camp.
I would say it's right up there with Eagle Rare. It's just the flavor's really good, but it's just not quite. It's not quite as smooth as
the top 3.
The top 3. I think that's the only thing that it falls short on.
Yeah, he's pretty good though. He's pretty good. What's this called again?
Russell's Reserve.
Russell's Reserve. Kentucky straight bourbon whiskey, 45% alcohol by volume.
Didn't you say she got it from Sam's Club for like $13?
Yeah, it was on sale for $13.
That's a damn good whiskey for $13.
It's normally like $40.
Yeah.
But yeah, for some reason it's on sale for like $13.99, and she grabbed it.
Yeah.
I wonder if they're clearing it out or something like that.
Interesting.
But yeah,
if you're interested in sponsoring one of our whiskey of the weeks, give us a shout. We always appreciate
email.
it. Yeah, we always appreciate it.
Sponsoring. I like how we call it sponsoring when really it's just people buying us booze.
If you want to give us booze, we'll shout your name out, but that's about it.
Yep.
Hey, that's how sponsorships work, man.
Yep.
But yeah, it's pretty decent. I can't complain. It's a decent whiskey.
Yeah. Like I said, the flavor is really good. It's, just not quite as smooth as the top three, I would think.
Right.
The flavor's right up there, though. The flavor's real good.
Yeah, it's pretty decent. So, I was talking about my business. What's going on there? So just over a year ago, I did
Anybody want to get me a beer?
No.
Negative.
Had a customer. Was then a customer who's now I consider him a buddy, but he came to me with an idea and an AR, and he said the hunting edition box from Busch Light. They do a new one every year, and last year he came to me with one and says, I want this put on my gun. So I designed it and did it all with Cerakote on the gun, and it ended up, I had Box take pictures of it, and it ended up blowing up pretty good. It got just under 9,000 shares, I think, on Facebook. But it was kind of that was like the first one of those guns that most people had ever seen. And I think it connected so well with people because it's something that it
was just a Midwest thing, I think.
Right. But it was like they saw something that they drink all the time, or they consider it part of them almost, and it was on a gun, and they're like, "Oh, that's freaking awesome," So that ended up going good, and frankly, I really should. I told these guys yesterday I should put a sign over my door that says the house that Busch built, just because that gun, essentially built my business to what it is now, just because of all the business that I got off of that, and people are actually starting to know Schiwerks now around the country, which is pretty sweet. But anyway, I did a second edition box. Tony, one of our good friends, Johnson's cousin, he came to me and he says, I want the updated version. He brought the new box in and an AR, and so I did that on it. And I did that one, several months ago. And that did okay. I got a couple thousand shares, but I just did another one and I posted it again. And that son-of-a-bitch just freaking blew up like crazy. It's got just under 13,000 shares and just freaking everywhere. But there's been a lot of interesting, shall we say, interesting posts.
Comments
on that.
Have been
just absolutely some of the ridiculous stuff on there. One guy, he commented, if you can shoot straight while drunk, you can shoot straight sober. Train as you fight. I thought that was pretty funny. Another guy says, if I killed bad guys like I killed Busch Light, I'd be John Wick.
Nice. That's pretty good.
That might be one of my favorite ones.
I don't know. I liked let me sneak past you and grab me one of these.
Yeah,
that was pretty good.
I commented on there and I says he won the comment section for that day. I think he messaged me yet and asked what he won.
Yeah.
I haven't got back to him yet, so maybe I'll ship him a sticker or something just for shits and giggles.
I like the one, this guy. Why do I picture the owner of this gun living in a double wide with an IROC Z28 cut off jean shorts, the most beautiful Kentucky waterfall this world has ever seen, and is waiting for a paternity test from his cousin?
Somebody posted below that, I think, didn't they? And they said something about, well, I thought it was his sister, but cousin works too.
Yeah, I was thinking sister, but cousin will do.
Another one that I giggled at was kind of along those lines, and it just said, LOL, rednecks.
Hey, you got to give it to him. Rednecks are fun as hell.
Mm-hmm.
This one says, this gun is actually unlockable if you A, knock up your cousin, or B, buy a double wide and an IROC at the same time with a mullet.
So it shoots like shit and gives you a headache.
Fair enough.
I do love that all the comments, like all the negative comments, they all crack me up, first of all the negative comments just make me giggle. But like 90% of them are, that's not the beer I drink, so it's terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the part that cracks me up. Like, if you don't drink the same beer as me, you suck. You know, that's pretty funny. But
there was, speaking of negative comments, there's one on here. Pat Davis. He says, as someone who has owned and shot guns for years, I never wanted guns banned entirely until I saw this picture. I laughed my ass off at that one, actually.
Oh, yeah.
And I just commented on there. He says, "Sheesh, a simple I don't like it would have sufficed." And then people freaking just jumped on him and he got obliterated. I think there was like 20-some comments just calling him well, a lot of people weren't very nice about it.
Well,
it was kind of... let's see if I can find the one where
I don't know. There's just there's some that are, the other, not only negative, but just the dumbfounded people that are like, "Oh, this is cool. Where do I get?"
Right.
That's.
Oh my God. I bet I saw freaking 50 comments. "Oh, where can I get this done at?" It's like, what? Just
right.
Look up, dude. It's not.
Look at where this picture is coming from.
Right. And
cracks me up.
There's a lot of guys on there too.
Or the watermark on the photo. Schiwerk Cerakote.
Yeah. Who did this? Is this Cerakote? What is this?
Right. Well, I need to get my gun dipped.
I would bet you almost probably 25, and I've received hundreds of messages regarding this, probably 300 messages this week. But I would bet you 25% of them says, "Where can I get this dipped or wrapped at?" Just because they they don't know the difference. Whatever it is, what it is. But and the other thing that pisses me off, there's a lot of guys on there they'll tag somebody else, another Cerakoter, and be like, "Hey, you want to do this for me?" Right. It's like, dude, at least whatever. I know people are gonna copy my shit, but at least message them. Don't f***ing do it blatantly right on my post. Like,
right,
and
in the comment section of my post.
I finally got pissed about it earlier today. I saw some guy do it, and I didn't comment on any other one other than this. And all I said was, or, you could send it to me and have the person, I did it originally. Let me do it right and not have somebody else blatantly copy my work and my design.
Right.
I doubt I'll get a comment back on it, but that just kind of irritates me. But, it is.
There was the one really nice picture of the pistol
that
AR pistol that somebody tried to copy, and it
looked like they drew it with crayons.
Utterly terrible. It was awful.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
I was just reading an exchange between a couple of friends on that post, and somebody was like, "I'm going to get this done," and his friend commented, "Can't be too hard to do, I wouldn't think." Okay. I mean, you're not going to do it with this can of Krylon, I can tell you
right.
how much.
Yeah.
Bit more involved than you think, bud.
Yeah. Yep.
Speaking of that Pat Davis guy, there's a couple of comments here. They're not exactly PG-13. It's like this one guy says, "Pat Davis, bud, what makes you think you're so special? Nobody walks around trying to jack your dad off just to see where you came from, you piece of shit."
Oh my God.
Holy that's great.
The one right above it's pretty good too. It's not PG-13 either, but it says, "Pat Davis, I never wanted being a dumbass to be banned entirely until I saw this comment. It's like you're the girl on the hood spread eagle and the guy jumps up to rail her. You're just waiting to get f***ed over by somebody with a better gun than you instead of having a freedom-loving American. Why would you choose to be a commie?" What the f***?
That just went a whole bunch of directions and never made it full circle.
I'm so confused. What the f*** is going on there?
Oh, man.
Oh, good, clean fun, though.
A little mixture going on there, Box.
Oh, look at that. Beautiful.
I'm not sure if
beautiful
it's gonna be
proportioning
or not.
So, yeah. Anyways, though,
no, there's when you reach that many people with a post, I think it's pretty interesting to see the wide array of comments that you get. There's so much stuff, like I would say 95% of the comments on that are just people tagging other people, but there's a lot. I would say the other majority are how much, asking for a price, where can I get this done, or this beer is terrible.
Right.
You should do it in this beer. Or, oh my God, Busch Light, that's terrible. Just talking trash on that beer.
Yeah. And really, there's not really that much negative shit on there. 99% of the comments are positive. It's always Usually on Facebook, there's a lot more negativity, but there's not really too much on that type of shit. A lot of guys on there are like, oh, well, this is horrible. You shouldn't mix beer and guns. It's like, well,
there's probably what 20 of them in the 3,500,
right.
you know,
but
the
it's like,
3,500
I responded to one guy. I was like, so are you saying NASCAR shouldn't have Budweiser on the side of their cars because it promotes drunk driving? If you can't differentiate between the two, you got a real freaking problem. You probably shouldn't be around guns anyway, buddy.
Yeah.
But so we just a couple weeks ago, what was it? Our last podcast actually was a Super Bowl Sunday.
Yep.
Did you guys ended up watching the Super Bowl?
Nope.
Yep.
This is the first Super Bowl I watched in.
Were you happy with
2
the
years,
outcome?
Actually.
Yeah.
I wanted the Chiefs to win, and that's the only reason I watched.
I was
I
was happy about the outcome. Just mostly, like I said last podcast, I don't know why I had hated the 49ers so much, but I think it's just because they had Kaepernick as a player at one time.
Such a douche canoe.
Yeah, it's like, well, I hate your team just because you had this one guy at one time.
You really know how to hold a grudge, bud.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, I still got that Kaepernick jersey. We can like take a flamethrower to it or something. If we can come up with some sort of other.
What we need is one of those nice rubber dummies, and then we can dress them up in it. I mean,
Just
rubber
shoot the
dummies
shit
are
out of it?
super expensive, but yeah.
How much do they go
Like
for?
$500.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
unfortunately.
bet we could find some cheaper than that.
I don't know. I just really don't want to keep his. I don't know. To me, it's like I'd rather just burn it and be done with it.
Well,
and
we
not
got
even
a
video it.
flamethrower, dude.
I know, but I'd rather not.
Hell, we
video
can do it
'cause
right
then,
out in my backyard.
Because then we're using that douche canoe to get more people to watch our shit, and I don't want people who. I don't know.
We
already did that.
I know.
Yeah, we already rode.
Do we
that.
need to do it again?
We already rode that train. Yeah, but hell, we can do the flamethrower right in my backyard, man.
Yeah.
I don't care. My neighbors won't say anything. They see all the bullshit I pull around here anyway.
Right.
I was this morning. I'm walking around with an AR, and the neighbor was walking out, and she's just, they're kind of used to it around here. That's all right. But anyway, while I was talking about
not having neighbors.
Yeah, mine are pretty.
Nice.
Mine are pretty decent, but. I was talking about the Super Bowl because there's that picture came out that and this is well known, everybody's known this, but there's snipers at the Super Bowl. I couldn't figure out how many. They didn't advertise how many they had set up in.
Didn't advertise it, huh?
Well, you know what I meant. They didn't.
I would
didn't
hope not.
say how many, obviously, for operational security. But my question is, what the good? Unless a person is on the field. What good is a sniper at one of those? Because there's 70,000 people there. How are they ever going to get a shot that's not
get a clean shot
with somebody directly behind them? Like, what good are they going to do unless there's somebody on the field? What are the chances?
I mean, most likely they're up in an elevated position, right?
Yeah, they are. They're
so
at the
you're
very
gonna
top.
so you're gonna be shooting down on top of somebody anyway.
Yeah, but there's still, passer. You're still gonna, especially with a rifle like that. You're not gonna just.
I don't know. I think they're really there for a secondary force. They're not going to be like, there's some guy carrying a bomb in. Let's make sure the sniper gets him. No, that's going to be probably one of the last case scenarios that they go to.
Well, I suppose they're just kind of Overwatch too for radioing to the team
it's
down
really,
below.
It's really mostly for seeing everything from an elevated position. I would say more for reconnaissance than for actual. Stopping a threat.
Apparently, when the
because they're going to have a lot more. They're going to have a lot more cops on the ground than they.
Right. Apparently, when they built the Cowboys Stadium down there in Texas, they actually built sniper nests as part of the building specifically for that. I thought that was kind of interesting. And after
smart though.
Yeah. Well, after Las Vegas, everything's security wise has changed so much. I think most of these. It'd be interesting to see how many of these big events actually have Overwatch on them, snipers and shit hanging around. I wonder if you think all football games do?
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. And there's probably, 4 snipers at a normal NFL game, probably.
Here's a question. Why the didn't we go down to, when we were in Vegas, and go and see where that whole shit happened? just kind of so you had more of an
Get
idea.
a lay of the land.
A lay of the land, and you could understand a little, because you can see it from the pictures, but it's 100% different when you're actually down there, and you could see how far he was shooting away. I thought it would have been interesting to. I mean, we saw Mandalay Bay, but we weren't down there to actually check it out. That would have been kind of interesting. I know it's kind of morbid, but that whole situation still, that's so fucking weird. They never came out with anything, never said a reason. They just said he was a crazy old guy.
There's a reason for that.
No, I think so too. I think it was politically motivated, and they didn't want to tell anybody because they were afraid that it would cause stir more shit. But that's my personal opinion on it. But
personally, I'm not even convinced that he was the dude doing it. He was just a scapegoat. But
yeah, you're probably right.
That's just me. I don't know.
And if I won't.
We could go into an entire.
How'd we go from snipers at the Super Bowl to Mandalay Bay?
One last thing is she got, the girlfriend of him.
Oh,
she was under investigation for a while. She got arrested over in Thailand the other day for having a fake gun. She pulled a fake gun on somebody. It's like, what? I just thought that was interesting that she ended up in the news again. But
weird.
So we did a video today that I don't know if it'll be out when we post this podcast yet, but it has to do with smart devices in the home. Those are getting to be a huge thing nowadays. Alexa, smart speakers, and it seems like Google Home, because Alexa's Amazon.
Yeah,
Google Home is obviously Google.
Yeah, so instead of
Apple.
like, hey Alexa.
Apple has. Do they have like a Siri? Do they have an actual smart speaker yet?
They have. Yeah, it's like Apple Home.
Okay.
I think is what it's called, is Apple Home, and I think it's the same deal. It's a speaker and the voice activated deal. I think it's the same thing.
Right, but I obviously don't have one in my home. Just because it's just invite the man in your house, man. I mean, they can. Yeah, our shit listens to us all the time, and by having a smartphone, actually, you give away a lot of your privacy the way it is. But it's been proven that those freaking speakers listen to every fucking thing you say.
Mm-hmm.
There was a case I looked up just before the podcast here. There was a double murder in some house over on the East Coast or whatever, and the cops ended up getting a court order from Alexa, who runs Amazon or whatever, for 2 days of the recordings. So, because they stay on Amazon servers, which means they're fucking listening to everything you say, not when you just say, "Hey Alexa."
Right.
They listen constantly.
Well, obviously, it has to listen all the time, because
Exactly.
how would it hear "Hey Alexa" or "Hey Google" or "Hey Siri" if it wasn't listening all the time? How would it know when you said
exactly?
The command
And it boggles my mind that most people are just like, "Well, I don't give a fuck. I don't have anything to hide, so it doesn't matter to me." Well, no, that's not the point.
Yeah, until you say something as a joke and the cops come knocking at your door.
Right, because you're a damn fool to think that the NSA doesn't run. I don't even know, their software catches certain trigger words and stuff, and I guarantee you that if you say a certain trigger word, somebody in some bunker in Virginia is listening to what the hell you said. I almost guarantee it.
Well, that's just like, people, you hear people talk about it all the time. Oh, me and my buddy were just talking about this, and all of a sudden I saw an ad for it on Facebook. Well, yeah, you have a phone that you have a Google account on. Your Gmail account is set up on your phone, right?
Mm-hmm.
So you have Google on your phone, and now all of a sudden when you accepted the terms and agreements that you didn't read, terms of service that you didn't read, and you just hit I accept, you gave them permission to listen to whatever the hell they wanted, and it helps them for ad creation, right? Or ad, whatever.
Ad placement and marketing.
Yeah, ad placement. So now you and your buddy were talking about this company or such and such. I need to look up such and such. I need to buy this.
You want a new toaster.
Yeah, and all of a sudden you see 2 ads for it on Facebook, and you get an email for, a company that makes that. Like, oh my God, we were just talking about that. That's so weird. Well, yeah.
No, that's not weird.
That's not right.
And it blows my mind that people are still confused by this.
Yeah.
Oh, isn't that crazy? Just a crazy coincidence.
Yeah, we were just talking about that. And now I see an ad for it. Oh, that's so weird.
There was that.
Like, I don't understand how people are still oblivious.
There was
to the
that
fact
one case of that girl who ended up, her parents found out she was pregnant because her phone was listening to her, and they ended up sending her like pregnancy some shit or paternity some shit in the mail or whatever, and then their parents ended up finding out that way. But anyways, I won't ever have that shit in my house. Just for that reason, I'm not going to give away my privacy.
We've all seen the memes of, my wife asked me why I carry a pistol in the house, and I said it's for protection because the government's listening. I laughed, my wife laughed, the toaster laughed. I shot the toaster. It
was a good time.
Yeah, that's basically where we're at,
Yeah, and kind of off subject, but I watched the new Terminator the other night. That one that's all about it's a female empowerment one. It's all the main characters are female. There's Arnold's in it still. He's actually the good Terminator. Do you guys care if I
spoil it?
So the spoilers.
90% of our listeners will. They're gonna be like, I can't believe Sam
it's not
that
really
whole movie. What a dick.
No, it's not really like too much of a spoiler. But Arnold ends up being like, when Skynet was destroyed, he was left, in our time, and that's so. Anyway, he ended up trying to help Sarah Connor in makeup because he ended up killing her son in this movie, anyways. And he ended up trying to make up for that, so he's trying to help her, and he grew a conscience, and he has a family of a kid because he found a lady that already had a kid, and he ended up marrying her, and they don't know, so it's a whole freaking. Anyways, though, my point behind all of this shit was just like the Skynet type of shit. Like, it's interesting to see because Boston Dynamics is building these robots that are just. Slowly getting better and better and better. They got a long ways to go yet. But think about 50 years from now, 100 years from now. In the grander scheme of things, 50 years or 100 years is not very long.
What's the date that like programmers and robotics people always talk about? What's the... Damn it, I can't think of the term.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
There's a term that they use for like artificial intelligence of what is the date at which that artificial intelligence will become live,
self-aware.
No, not so much self-aware, but like when we develop artificial intelligence and like actually, because we have like some very light versions of artificial intelligence right now.
Well, yeah.
You're talking about singularity?
Yes, the singularity singularity event or the singularity or
you're
whatever.
Gonna have to explain.
So it's basically a date. They're trying to figure out a date at which artificial intelligence starts and it learns on its own. Mm-hmm. So there's a date that they think that we will have artificial intelligence that will start learning on its own, and it will learn everything so fast. Like, it will learn faster than we can fathom, right? Because it takes us a while to learn things.
Right.
Well, a computer and like a supercomputer can learn so fast,
right,
that it can become self-aware and can become...
Have you ever heard the other big fear about that, by the way?
Is that
the computer becomes self-aware, figures out what humans are, hates humans, detonates every nuke in the world.
Yeah. There's a lot of theories about what happens when AI becomes self-aware, but there's like a big discussion of whether we should be pursuing artificial intelligence or not pursuing artificial intelligence, because it can use all the recordings and all the, it will basically teach itself how to hack into everything. So it will have access to every piece of information in the entire world, whether you want it to or not. And that's the thing is, will it have a conscience? There's so much shit that goes along with artificial intelligence, and it's
right. But why? Most of the robot, there's like 3 laws that they're supposed to follow. that are built into most of this AI stuff, and one of them is don't hurt humans.
Yeah, no.
Well,
but,
if you build that as part of their programming, so they can't not do it.
yeah, but it learns to program itself. Like
Isn't that
you have to understand
Asimov's?
that like AI is going to be so smart, and it's going to get so smart so fast that you won't even be able to go, whoa, hold on a minute, this isn't how we program this thing. It's already going to be so far ahead of you that you're not going to have time to react to that.
I don't know.
And that's part of the discussion of people,
tell you the truth, it doesn't.
in the
It
industry.
doesn't concern me too much. I don't. No, I mean,
Yeah, me either, really. But that's just there's a lot of discussion about.
Sam won't be concerned until they start putting out those hot ass sex robots, and then he'll go and buy himself one.
oh, those are already out, dude.
I've already got my name in
you
on
wasted
pre-order.
no time on that. You just those are already out. I've seen them. Got one in my closet.
Box, what's your thoughts on the whole AI thing? You think they're going to take over the world?
No.
I don't. I
Good
honestly,
input,
I don't
thanks.
think.
You think if I had input, I wouldn't have. You think I'm holding back here or something?
Right. I don't know. I don't think they'll ever hit the start button on AI, on like true AI, because I think everybody is too worried about what it's.
No,
what it's
somebody
gonna do.
is.
You think there's just one button?
No.
Just
They're
one big
already
green start button.
They're already
I just-
pursuing it.
you know what I
I
mean.
watched a video about it the other day. There's already companies that are actively pursuing actual artificial intelligence, not just faking artificial. Because up until, I think we're getting there now, but up until now, there's been, most of the shit that was supposedly AI was basically faking intelligence.
Mhm.
Hey, when I say this to you, you say this, instead
Right.
of actually thinking for yourself. Well,
Right.
there's a and this was years ago now already. I think it was Saudi Arabia gave citizenship to an actual robot, an AI person. Her name's like Sophia or something like that, I believe.
Oh yeah, she's real creepy looking too.
But
I don't
and
know,
supposedly,
robotics, I don't know.
supposedly she is actually intelligent, and she learns, and she just doesn't fake.
There's
the
a
intelligence.
difference between, because on things like that, there's like, I don't know, there's like limitations to the processor and limitations to what the hardware is,
right.
But like if you start with like a supercomputer and like serious hardware, it can, it comes to a point where the thing could learn to turn itself into a soldering iron to make new shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Right.
that's the level of intelligence we're talking about. We're not talking like this will be if it ever actually happens, it'll be a level of intelligence that nobody has ever even fathomed, because it will learn so fast and it'll be ever evolving so fast that and people are like, oh, just pull the cord on it. And it's like, if that thing's learning as fast as we think it's going to learn, or faster, like, what if the thing builds itself a battery in a half an hour and you're like, oh shit, I unplugged it, but it's still working. Like it built itself a solar panel. I don't know.
But people are so concerned with they're going to want to kill us. Why does everybody
know.
just
And that's-
assume that they're going to want to kill us?
Right. And that's part of the discussion that I've listened to some podcasts and stuff about it, and people talk about it, and it's like, there has to be, just because it's intelligent and it's self-aware and all that stuff, that doesn't mean it has a conscience. That doesn't mean it has, it wants to do things.
Arnold did.
That's a movie.
I'm just kidding. I'm just being a smart ass.
Like, you know what I mean?
I
Like,
see what you're saying, yeah.
It doesn't
Well,
have desires. It doesn't have.
Yeah, you can't fake.
It doesn't become a human.
You can't.
Like, it might be intelligent, but it doesn't become a human. You know,
can't
so like
fake,
that's
you can't fake emotions,
Right.
Like human emotions. Like, of course, at our core, like, I'm getting pretty deep here, but at our core, we're essentially computers as well.
Well, we're a machine.
Organic computers. Yeah. I mean, our brains think and function with electrical impulses. So at our core, we're basically, that too. But you can't, like, a lot of our emotions and shit is done with chemicals and, shit like that. So you can't fake that, really.
right. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know. You could have 12 podcasts about artificial intelligence. I don't know.
Have you guys seen anything much about the like organic computers? Are those totally like just a myth and a legend, or do they exist?
I guess I haven't.
Toad, do you know anything about them?
I've read a little bit, but as far as I know, there's not really anybody working on them right now.
I don't know. I just find I just find shit like this fascinating. I love talking about it and learning about that type of shit.
Listen to Warrior Poet Society here in the last month has put out a video. He got in touch with somebody that obviously was in like one of the agencies or is like a computer programmer or something like that, and they were talking about artificial intelligence. It's a really good video.
One of his newer videos he just put out?
Yeah.
Okay, I'll check it out.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting.
John Lovell, he's a pretty smart dude, and he like, you know, he gets into kind of some weird shit, like especially like with the AI stuff, you know, but he finds smart people to talk to about that kind of stuff.
Maybe that's what we should do instead of just talking to our stupid ass selves so we don't know anything.
No, this is way more fun. I don't want to hear facts. I just want to sit here and spitball conspiracy theories with you idiots.
I mean, it's fun to me. I enjoy it.
Hey, I'm having a good time.
Shield Arms. They've been around for quite a while, actually. But
nice segue.
But thank you. You guys know I don't do segues.
Yeah.
You call me Segway Sammy.
Getting back into firearms-based topics, Sam wanted to talk about some Shield Arms. You ordered these already. You've already received them?
I get them on Tuesday.
So Sam ordered Shield Arms magazines, Glock 43X magazines, but they're 15-round magazines, right? Mm-hmm. So Shield Arms basically developed this magazine as it's a metal magazine for a Glock, right?
Yes.
Crazy.
And it boggles my mind why it took us so long to think of this.
Right.
Because essentially what they did,
took the guts of a P365 mag, made it push the sheet metal out to where it fit inside a Glock 43X, and color a day.
Yeah, it's pretty similar. So the idea behind Glock mags, if you're not familiar, Glock, they run polymer mags. So obviously they have to be a lot thicker walled than metal magazines are. So all Shield did was, okay, well, screw this. We'll just do metal because you can do a lot thinner walls. Then you have a lot more room to stack, and it's not. Basically, you're right. It was based off the P365, which was
it's like a 1.5 stack,
revolutionary. And I frankly don't understand why it took us this long to figure this out. It's 2020, and it took us. We've had semi-automatic weapons for how many years now?
Well, that's to me, it's just like the 1911, because it's like 1911. The grip is like 1.5 inches wide once you have the grip panels on it, right? Mm-hmm. Well, what if the frame was just that size and you put like a double stack?
There wasn't removable grips on it.
Yeah.
So it was just that size and you had a double stack magazine in it.
Yeah, you could double stack a 45 in it with that same width of grip, if it just wasn't removable grip panels.
You mean like a 2011?
Yeah, basically. But I mean, but in 45 in the regular 1911 frame. Because like in 1911, it's a removable trigger guard and grip or in a 2011 rather, it's like a full trigger guard and grip module. Right, and that gets fastened to the actual frame of the 2011. But I don't know. It's just interesting to me that you have all that room inside that grip of like a 1911. Yet
it's just wasted. A lot of it's
You're using 1/2 inch of width, on 1.5 inch wide grip. You're using 1/2 inch of width. But
what good's a 1911 if it doesn't weigh 17 pounds though?
This is true.
Gotta keep all that material in there.
We got 6 pounds of stainless back here in the grip.
I will strike you.
They really should design 1911s with like a handle on the.
Do you want to get striked
on the muzzle end?
Striked.
And a handle on the muzzle end and a hammer on the bottom of the grip. That way you
Yep.
can just, bash somebody to death with it. But back
Finger
to these-
grooves on the bottom of the barrel.
There you go. There you go. If I was a CNC guy, I'd totally make one of those.
Yeah, that's funny.
So back to these shield arms, though. So if you're not familiar, it's not a double stack. It's not a single stack. They call it a 1.5. Basically, it's in between those two. So what they ended up doing was finding a way to put 15 rounds in an extremely small magazine. So if you're familiar with the Glock 43, I have a Glock 43 that I carry, and I added a +3 magazine to it. So I had 9 rounds in that magazine. Plus 1 in the chamber, obviously. So if you reload, you can have a total of 10 rounds. But this fancy new magazine, it's the same basically the same footprint, the same size, but you get a 15 plus 1 in it. I mean, so it's a win-win situation. It's freaking awesome. Now I can have I'm gonna order you can order a 43X frame off a gun broker for like $135 complete. Slap it onto my 43 slide. And here we go. I'm off to the races. I got 15 freaking rounds. That's as much as my 19. So why am I ever going to carry my 19 again? Other than the fact
I'd probably rather carry a 19.
I would rather carry a 19, but
I like it bigger.
I like it feels
you
better.
didn't know you were saying that until you said it, and then you were just like, you just rolled with it. You're like, oh shit, this is gonna sound bad, so I'm gonna go with it.
I'm happier when bigger things are in my hand.
It's not as bad as when you said, come into me.
Yes, but the nice thing is, they got the 43X and the 48. So the only reason you guys want a bigger gun is the longer sight picture. Well, you get the 40.
That's not true. There's a lot of benefits that come with a bigger gun.
Yes, reduced recoil basically is the
more comfort.
That's debatable when you get a bigger
reduce.
grip.
I mean, let's really add all this stuff up. So you got longer sight radius, right? So more accurate in general. I mean,
yes,
like,
but
basically,
if you go with the 48, though, you got the same sight radius.
Right, longer sight radius, reduced recoil, and higher capacity, right? So I'm saying from a 43 to a 19,
right?
You've got reduced recoil because it's heavier, higher capacity, and a longer sight radius.
But if you upgrade to a 48, you have the same capacity and the same sight radius, and probably I would bet you the weight is extremely close. So it's debatable if there's really even much of a benefit at all.
So
obviously,
that's on a 48, right?
That's on a 48, which all a 48 is a 48 is just a longer version of the 43X.
Right. So here's my question to you. Why buy a 43X and then buy, especially for you, why buy a 43X frame and then buy these other magazines when you could have just bought a 48 and just been...
Well, I'm not going to get a 48.
I'm just saying, what's the need for Shield Arms to produce these 15-round magazines for the 43X if I can just buy a 48 and it's virtually the same thing, just has a higher capacity?
It's not. The 43X and the 48 have the exact same capacity from the factory.
Oh, so it doesn't.
Shield Arms is the only.
So a 48 doesn't have the same capacity as a 19.
No, not unless you put these Shield Arms magazines in.
Okay,
that is why they're shit hot sellers.
I see what you're saying. I
posted them actually.
So just a 48 or a 43X versus a 19, I still have.
From the factory, they only have 10 rounds compared to 15.
So I still have. So they're the same sight radius, but I'm still going to have lower recoil and higher capacity as a factory firearm.
Right. That's why these Shield Arms are so shit hot. And I posted them the other day on the Life Short Live Free Facebook when they were in stock, which was rare. That was the first time they'd been in stock since they did their pre-sale, which I don't even, like I said, I don't even friggin' own one yet. I just went and snagged 2. They're $40 a piece, so they're not cheap, but they're going to be nice. I'll get them on Tuesday.
I mean, realistically, they're not
love
like outrageously expensive.
Well, compared to most magazines,
there's plenty of magazines that are $40 a piece. I mean,
so I didn't
$30 to $40 a piece.
I'll end up doing
not for anything that I own because I'm a cheap piece of shit.
For $50, I think.
Yeah,
right.
Yeah, but that's what I mean.
Compared to Glock mags is the only reason they seem expensive.
Right.
But I'm pretty stoked about this. Like I said, I'm going to buy a 43X frame and rock it, and and be happy with it. I'll do a video about that.
So-
I think the conversion of everything and stuff. So
You're gonna buy a 43X frame.
mm-hmm.
So what if I would have personally I would have just built another frame or another slide and barrel.
Well, I could. I still can.
I mean, you might as well.
I could just buy another frame for it, but I I'm debating buying a frame with a red dot on it and rocking my 43X with a red
slide
dot.
with
A
a red
frame
dot.
with a red dot. That's
Or
slide with a red
you
dot.
guys-
interesting.
yes, you guys do what I meant.
Interesting.
No, this is a new design. It's
It's like a
revolutionary.
45 can't. The red dot actually goes on the side, so you shoot it sideways. So it's a kill
it's
shot.
on. Yeah, that's a kill shot. That's a kill shot.
One of those things that attaches to the rail and goes up over the
Yeah.
slide.
Those are
Rail
so
attached.
butt ass ugly.
Yeah. Well, they're mostly for competition.
Well,
shooting.
they serve
Yeah.
a purpose because they don't reciprocate. You know, I could see
Yep.
that. But, anyways, I'm pretty stoked about these. I'll make a video on them about doing the whole conversion and everything, and it'll should be fun. I'm pretty
I
excited.
don't know. I think the magazines they're a good idea. You know, they're a super smart design, and
Have you guys heard of Shield Arms before this?
yeah, those are my mag extensions for my Glock 17 or Shield Arms.
Okay, because I mean I know they've been around for a while, but I'm not
Mhm.
sure if I've heard of them until they did this shit. This is kind of put
Yeah,
them
those mag
them on the
extensions
map.
that you Cerakoted for me with my 17,
up. Okay,
the Polymer 80.
Yeah.
Those are Shield Arms.
interesting.
Yeah. But I don't know. It's smart. I mean, you think about it, you get rid of the polymer, you got a little more room for side to side on.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm really surprised that
It took us
Glock
100 years to figure this shit out.
I'm really surprised that Glock hasn't come out with their own Glock branded version of this.
I don't.
Why
know if they
why
will.
does Glock insist on using polymer?
Because it's their
Mags.
thing. I don't know. I don't know why they insist
Also,
on it.
has anybody tested to see if they're as reliable as a factory Glock mag?
Well, yeah, I plan on it to a certain extent.
He'll shoot like 20, 30 rounds and be
No,
like,
I'm
yep,
gonna-
good enough,
Yeah,
boys.
before-
before I'm ever going to carry them, I'm going to shoot hundreds of rounds through them.
I think we should
that they
shoot.
function
I think we should
flawlessly.
in one day we should shoot 2,000 rounds through your 43X through that magazine, through one of those
So
magazines.
if you guys want to sponsor this video, let us know and buy the ammo for us. Actually, it'll only be about $400.
less than that, yeah,
360.
350, 360.
Do you want to cough up $360?
No.
Yeah, I don't either. So, but anyway, I'm going to shoot at least probably
Any
five.
Hoosier.
Probably I might between 200 to 500 rounds before I'll ever. Probably 500 rounds before I'll ever carry it.
Yeah, I'd be more than that, I think, as far as carrying stuff. But
Well, I don't know. So, yeah, we'll see what kind of video I come up with, but I'll do something. So.
Smell that whiskey still for some reason.
And you know what? I
Sick.
finished mine, and you know what bothers me about this? It
You want
it smells like bug spray.
You said that every whiskey.
2 or
and
3
like,
whiskeys.
No, I said that about the last whiskey and this whiskey. Those are the only 2 whiskeys I've said it about.
I don't know. My hangover's shaking into high gear.
I think
I'm getting
you're-
those hot flashes now.
Drink more whiskey.
You hitting menopause?
Yeah, maybe that'll help.
You hitting menopause, Toad?
Maybe you're getting the flu, dude.
Coronavirus?
No, the
Ooh.
flu.
The Bud Light virus?
Well, I really think it's the
no,
same
Toad
thing.
had the
It's just the flu from China.
vodka sour
China flu.
virus. You got the vodka sour virus. I was giving you shit last night because they look like Smirnoff that you're drinking. You remember that? They're
Yeah.
like-
Who did I pick up and carry to the cooler last night?
Richie.
That's who it was.
Yeah. Yeah, little Richie, little Dick. Hey, Toady, are you ready for your segment?
I am. Get your
Take a look. It's in a book.
Stop. Time
traveling with Toad. With Toad.
You guys have no idea how much I cringe inside every time I hear that goddamn segment.
You love it.
That makes me happy.
So today we're going all the way back to 1958.
Ooh.
And what we're going to talk about is the AR-7 designed by none other than Eugene Stoner himself. It's for those of you who don't know what an AR-7 is, it's a basically a backpacker's rifle is what I'd call
So-
it. It's a survival rifle. It fits in itself basically. Everything fits in
Does
the
it look
stock.
like an AR?
No,
No.
It
It looks like a revolver with a stock on it.
No,
Okay.
the new Henry still produces these.
Yeah. Yep.
The Henry survival rifle.
Yep.
I
I just looked them up. Academy has them for $229.
Yeah, they're cheap and they're awesome.
Yeah, they are kind of neat.
But I'm interested to hear the history of it because I knew this was a Eugene Stoner design,
Mm-hmm.
but I don't really know much about it.
Yeah, well, he designed it for mostly recreational users as a takedown rifle, backpackers and whatnot. But it got adopted by a lot of what?
Nothing. I don't know why I laughed. The recreational users just made me think of drugs. I don't know. Go on.
Jesus, Sam.
Get your mind out of the gutter. Anyway, so it was geared more towards like the weekend backpackers, people, boaters, whatever.
Camping, boating.
And it actually got, how do I say that, adopted by the Air Force as a pilot survival rifle. They would issue them those in their keeping cockpit of your planes. The Israelis did the same thing with it. They issued it to their pilots too.
So is that like strapped to your seat? So when you eject, it's like attached to your seat, so he
I think
bails
so.
out with you.
I think so. Yeah, in some way, shape, or form.
Yeah,
Right.
I think so.
Cool.
But anyway, I'm trying to find it here. Henry acquired the rights to it in 1980. So, now it's
just like the design, like the overall.
Yep, now it's called the Henry U.S. Survival AR-7 rifle. The stock and everything is ABS plastic, basically, but it's designed to float too.
Did it used to be wood originally?
Yeah.
But Israeli pilot survival rifle and all that too. So it's just a neat little 22. It comes in 8, 10, and 15 round magazines.
And that was designed originally as a 22 long rifle?
Yes.
It's always been a 22? Okay.
Yep, always has been. 25 round magazines are now available too. The new models have, sorry folks, I can't think today. Picatinny rails on them.
Oh, okay.
For mounting
like a red
optics.
dot?
Yeah. And, yeah. Anyway, keep chuckling over dipshit.
No, they're super cool. If you haven't seen them before, you should check them out. They're really cool. They're like a good backpack gun for like camping and things like that. So basically, if you've seen like a 10-22 takedown rifle, you know that basically the barrel comes off of the receiver. And like Magpul, I know makes stocks for the 10-22 takedowns where they just like click together. So like the receiver and the barrel kind of click together, and they work really good in a backpack. But this was obviously well before the 10-22 takedown was available.
Yep.
And like the barrel goes in the buttstock, and there's room for magazines.
Let's go on.
You need real help. Anytime anybody says butt, it doesn't matter if it's buttstock, but if the letters B-U-T-T are anywhere together in a word, he's giggling.
No, yeah, he's got problems.
Yeah, so they float and I think a lot of them are the Henry ones, are they stainless barreled?
They used to be. Yeah, it was a stainless barrel inside of like a plastic tube.
Right.
And I think now they're just regular. It's like a regular barrel, but
is it? Yeah. Because and that's like a lot with a lot of those 10-22 barrels. I know they're a steel rifled sleeve inside of an aluminum barrel. You know, like a lot of the fluted bull barrels are actually aluminum with a steel sleeve.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't know if that was kind of the same thing with the survival rifles, but those survival rifles, the barrel actually goes in the stock, and there's like room for the magazines and a bunch of ammo. And
I think there's actually, I know I saw one time somebody put a little survival kit in there, like some fishing line and some hooks and some,
windproof matches and stuff like that.
So are you guys going to jam one of these in your backpack when we do our survival?
Maybe.
Video?
I'm not opposed to buying one of these things.
No,
I think it'd be
cool.
I think it'd be a good something to have in your safe or in your pickup, or
So if you guys, I think we talked about this last time we kicked around doing it, but we're gonna do a video or maybe a video series or something. We're gonna go out and just find some random ass middle of nowhere. We're gonna everybody has a backpack and that's it, and we go and spend the weekend. Probably, I think maybe Friday through Sunday, and just that's all you get. You don't get to bring a tent. You just gotta rough it, and which is not gonna be that hard for only 2 days. But it'll be a different experience.
It'll at least make us build shelter, make
Right.
fire, get
Caveman,
our own
fire.
food,
rabbits and fish and squirrels.
Squirrel.
Jinx, you owe me
Have
a
any
Coke.
of you guys eaten a squirrel?
Yes.
Toad, I figured you would have.
What do they taste like?
Chicken?
No,
Frog legs?
I've had rabbit, not squirrel.
Yeah, we
It's
had
pretty- it's
we had a
pretty
rabbit.
close to
We had a
rabbit.
rabbit for
I
Easter
imagine.
one time.
It's honestly it's real close to rabbit. I think
Yeah.
it's a greasy,
the
really
rodents,
lean
it's
meat.
definitely greasy.
I bet it'd be the bomb, like deep fried though, like with breading on it and shit.
It's not bad. I've had it deep
Ooh,
fried.
yeah.
I've had it like just seared in oil in a pan, just kind of fried. But I've had it breaded and fried in a deep fryer. It's pretty good.
nice.
Dad always said that.
I guess. I mean, people are probably like, "Oh my god, he just said squirrel's good," but squirrel
Dad-
eggs are pretty tasty.
Dad and their family ate a lot of that when they were growing up because there was 12 fucking kids in that family, and he said if
Are they Catholic?
Nope.
Surprising.
He said if Grandpa sent us into the woods to get dinner with a box of 22 shells and we came back with no shells and no food, he said we got our asses beat.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, you just burn up all my 22 ammo, and you got no dinner.
Yep.
Speaking of which, are you guys buying 22 ammo like it's nobody's business right now?
No, I've got like
Should we be?
4,000 rounds.
Yeah, man. Remember you guys?
Dude, it is so cheap right now.
It's stupid.
It's
cheap.
finally it's not stupid cheap. It's not the same price it was 10 years
It's
ago,
close.
but it's getting
It's
damn close.
When I first got into, and I think I've told you guys this before, but I got into guns 2012, December of 2012, December 5th.
Boy, this is getting awfully particular.
The Sandy Hook massacre happened, and it fucking went bonkers. You couldn't find nothing, and for a year you couldn't find 22.
Yeah,
And I mean I got a good supply of it, but I work at a gun store and people
Do
just
you
don't
own a 22?
Yes.
Okay.
Just
I guess
just
I've
a
just
rifle,
never
just a
seen it.
Marlin 22, nothing
Yeah.
special. I should really get a 10-22, but
I should too. I got a bunch of 10-22 mags even. I don't even own a 10-22.
but I'm freaking guilty of it. Why am I not buying 22? Like just every time you see it, oh, here's a brick, $20 bucks. Stock it up.
There was people for a long time there, like you said, right after 2012. In that time frame, 2012 to 2014, I think was probably the height of the 22 long rifle shortage.
Paying $80 to $100 a brick.
Yeah. There was people that were like waiting at Walmart on like Thursdays when the truck came in.
Oh, yeah.
There was like people waiting for a truck to come in, and like they would sort out 22 ammo for these guys who were there every week when truck got there.
Well,
Like Dunham's was the same way.
Yep, and they
You
put a
couldn't-
limit on how many boxes you could buy because these guys were coming in and buying it all and just hoarding it.
Reselling it,
Yep.
making a stupid profit.
Well, and that
off
was
of it.
that was the crazy thing because it was normal price at like Walmart and Dunham's and shit like that.
But then you go to
They'd
the
go
gun
to the
show.
gun show
Oh
and
my
just
God.
make a slaying on that shit.
Mhm.
Yep.
I bought 40 bricks last week for $20 a brick, sold all 40 for $80 a brick at the gun show. It was insane.
Well, and most ammo was like that too. Like 223. I remember I had an alert on my. There was an extension you could put on Google that alerted you when a certain store had this shit in stock, and I went over there and bought several boxes of 223 because shit, the only 223 I could find after I bought my AR, I bought from Dave or Farmer when he had that store over in his garage over there for $1 a round. That was the first shit that I ever bought. The first 223.
I remember being in Norfolk, Nebraska, and in a gun store, and I ran into a guy who had 2,000 round cases of 223, and nobody could find them. And I knew a guy that was looking for him. He paid $1,000 a piece.
That doesn't even surprise me. Just
I'm
insane.
like,
So,
holy
and
fuck.
and I'm as guilty as anybody else. But why the fuck are we not just stocking the shit out of it when it's because this is cheap right now? It's probably as cheap as we're ever going to see it in our lifetime ever again, or not in our lifetime, fucking anybody's lifetime.
Yeah. So my dad, it's funny because my dad was he was a hoarder of ammo, and when all this was going on, I remember he went to a gun show. And actually, you remember that yellow Remington UMC box I have of that? They're like light. They're like 45 or 50 grain. You know, they're super light projectile 223. And that's a 250 round box. And you want to know what the price is on that box?
$5.
This was from a gun show in like 2014.
Oh, so
never mind.
Several $100.
Yeah. It was like, I think it was like $225 for this box of 250 rounds of like 45 grain hollow point 223.
So do you remember going over to Dunham's on
Just like
Black Friday just to buy a fucking 9mm in 2000? It must have been 2013.
Yeah, I remember the guys that were there like for the 22 ammo at the time too, because they had that limited number of those buckets of golden bullets or whatever the fuck they're called. All I wanted was a damn ground blind. He wanted some 9mm. There was a line
all the way to the back of the
back
store.
Of the store.
We'll never. I've done the only time I ever done Black Friday was that, and I went over with Box and got a gun safe. So I've only bought ammo and a safe. You know, I'm not doing too bad.
Yeah, but I mean
that was fucking insane.
We got there. What?
It opened
11?
at midnight.
Yeah, I think we got there at 11 and sat in the parking lot, and it was just people pulling in.
Yeah,
So like, we better go get out. So we get out, and it starts fucking snowing. It's like, God damn it.
Yeah.
Woof.
Shit. So anyway, the moral of the story is buy ammo while it's cheap, because at some point, I'm sorry, but the Republicans are not going to hold the presidency for forever.
And they don't do anything for us anyway. That's another thing that I think we need to be more proactive on is, you know, whenever the Democrats are in charge, they chip away and they chip away and they chip away, but the Republicans never chip away back the other direction.
We had the House, the Senate, and the presidency, and what do we get?
Yeah,
Jack
nothing.
Shit.
So it's a holding pattern, lose our rights. Holding pattern, lose our rights. Holding pattern, lose more rights. It's
interesting that you mentioned that because, well, if you look at essentially, yes, it was over slavery. But essentially, the Civil War started because some of the southern states says "fuck you," we do what we want, and the federal government tried to, you know, exert their power over them. And I think we're almost getting back into that state a little bit, because a lot of states are saying "fuck you," we're not gonna, you know, sanctuary states, sanctuary counties, sanctuary cities.
There's also a lot of states saying, you know, the opposite. You know, to the sanctuary state, they're like, "Well, to hell with the Electoral College. We're giving all of our votes
intelligence. Fuck what our citizens think. We're gonna do what the rest of the county or the rest of the country thinks. It's outrageous."
Yeah.
But anyway, Box, did you take our?
Do you have a stockpile of ammo?
No, I don't. I'm very low on ammo.
Are you?
Yes.
I get it.
Not as low as you guys, but yeah.
I keep 1,000 rounds of 9mm and 223.
I'm low on 223 ball ammo. Hollow points, I probably have 4,000 left. I just don't.
Okay, yeah, I'm pretty low.
I just don't. I don't want to shoot all of my hollow point stuff. Just dicking off.
Have you shot much of it? You know it functions and works good and shit.
Yeah, I mean,
Do you remember the rabbit on the range?
Yeah. Yeah. Do you not remember me smoking that rabbit on Easter last year, trying to run across the shooting range?
Why didn't we eat that?
Because
there was nothing left.
It was pre-butchered, man.
Dude.
No, it exploded.
Yeah, but no, it's I think I have probably 3,000 to 4,000 on a 223 as far as like hollow points and shit.
You're doing better than me. Like I said, I only keep about 1,000 rounds around.
Ball ammo, I have nothing. I think I have like 2 loaded magazines, and that's what I have for ball ammo for 223. But and 7.62 by 39, I got a boatload. I would hate to count the amount of rounds I have for an AK.
Yeah, I got 600, and I don't even own a fucking AK, so I should probably get on that. Box, we got a suggestion for baddest dude of the week. Did you go with that this week?
No, I didn't.
No.
I already had.
So we're
gonna do that next week. Are we gonna do that next week?
I mean, I can.
We probably should.
Why?
That's okay.
And because it was a request. It can budge in line a little
I
bit.
requested the request, though.
That is the baddest son of a bitch I have ever seen ever.
Yeah, it's the best dude of the week!
Yeah.
What
you
a
can
nice
tell
touch.
Box was drunk when he made that because he's in the background and he actually sounds happy.
Because he never screams.
I scream all the time. What are you talking
He
about?
Well,
does.
hey,
He
yeah.
screams. He screams
If he's
pretty
talking,
regular.
yeah, if he's talking, he's
Have you ever
this
worked
close
with
to
me?
screaming.
Anyways, okay. When you guys think of what, Sam?
Oh, you got a piece of paper, not just your phone?
That's just a couple of
Oh, okay. Sorry.
minor notes.
Go ahead.
I'm not super prepared. Surprise, right?
Say that every fucking
There's
time.
not a lot to this one, actually. When you guys think of Vietnam snipers, what do you think of?
Carlos Hathcock.
White Feather or Chuck Mawhinney?
Yeah, Carlos Hathcock would be the one most
Yeah.
people would.
That's White Feather.
Yep.
What was the other one you said?
Chuck Mawhinney.
Well, there you go, buddy. You got
Woo!
it. Most people think of Hathcock
I mean,
when
Are
they
we
think
really
of.
surprised that Toad knew the history lesson of the week? I mean, really.
No.
Because
Help
Toad's really the history guy here.
Kind of helps. I read a lot about Vietnam when I was a kid because my dad was there.
Yeah, that does help.
Yeah. Anyways, Hathcock, he was there in like 1966, I believe, and Mawhinney was there in 68 and 69. And Hathcock had 93 recorded kills or confirmed kills, I guess, and this guy had 103 confirmed kills with another 216 probable kills.
Yep.
Which probable kills is
How
just
do they confirm a kill? Sorry to interrupt,
they
but
It's
literally go and check, right?
yeah. Or if like they can
Get
see
hands
the
on
guy
his
laying
body.
there dead. Like I think one of Mawhinney's deals was one night he was up in a tree and the unit below him got ambushed and he took out like 19 guys, and like in a river. But
Yeah, that's the story.
sorry, bud.
go ahead.
Yeah. Well, anyways, well, surprisingly, I lost my train of thought. Anyways, so yeah, there was this boy. Okay, yeah, they were out of this base near Da Nang, I believe, is what they called it. What they also called Arizona Territory,
Yep.
which was a large and.
My dad was in. He's been there a couple times.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
Anyways, there was a large North Vietnamese army force moving its way towards that base, but a monsoon shut down the air support. So this Chuck Mawhinney guy, he volunteered to cover the river crossing where they expected him to cross. And I don't know why he decided to leave his sniper rifle at the base, and then he went ahead with his M14 and his Starlight scope, which was an early night vision thing.
Mm-hmm.
Which I can't imagine night vision back in Vietnam
Probably total shit.
was real great. But him and his spotter were just overlooking this river crossing, and a few hours later, the army showed up, and a single scout approached the river and checked it all out, but he didn't want to take him out. So the scout was just obviously scouting things out for the rest of them, and he waited until the rest of the army got into that river, and he engaged them from, it says 25 to 75 meters, and he took out 16 guys, and I read somewhere else that it was within like 30 seconds, and they were all headshots.
Wow.
Just one after the other with an M14, just bam, 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 and just freaking crazy.
That's insane.
That is nuts. I mean,
Yeah.
and it's so smart. Like when you think about it, I'm not gonna take out the scout because
Right.
if they don't hear, if they get radio silence, they're not coming up here,
Yeah.
or
Well, it's
they're obviously not that far behind. If they hear a single gunshot, and we don't see the scout come back.
How much?
Yeah.
How many guys did you say?
103 confirmed kills and 216 probable.
Well, I mean, just in that
16,
in that
he
river.
said, for
16.
that.
He killed 16.
Can you imagine? And here's something like when I think of that, for some reason, like I just think like after that's all done and you're back at your base and you're just like, holy fuck, I just murdered. Not murdered, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
I shot 16 guys through the head. Like like I
it
can't
kinda-
imagine that.
It
Dude.
kind of like watch some of his interviews on like YouTube and stuff. He used to do some stuff with the History Channel every once in a while, and when he talks about it, you can tell it kind of fucked him up because like
I'm sure.
Well, and a lot of those guys,
and that's one thing too is, I know like the American Sniper, the movie, right? So they talked a lot to like Chris Kyle's wife, and you know, in that movie, there's a very iconic scene of like the kid,
yes.
right? So that's, you know, that's one thing to be a sniper where you have a lot of long shots and
You're detached a little bit.
You're
from
detached a little bit, but like Box was just saying, this was all 15 to 75 meters.
You're close.
So this is
you're
all
right there.
within 100 yards, you know? So it's like, that's some up close and personal shit.
Right. And a lot of those guys that went over there, and I don't know if he was drafted or he, you know, went in, you know, by himself, but a lot of those guys didn't want to be over there. A lot of those guys, that was
a lot of the drafted.
They were drafted and they just did what they were supposed to do.
got
And
spit on and called baby killers, and they
you know,
came back
it just,
and everything else.
man, it just boggles my mind. And we had a thought the other day, and I've been thinking a little bit about this, Toad. About you mentioned talking to your dad and my uncle. But I don't know if he'd be interested in something like that.
Yeah,
I don't think they would, but because they don't want to talk about it, and I can't blame them in the least bit. But I just think it'd be so fascinating to actually get.
It'd be interesting
to get
hear
them to
the
open up,
stories.
and I don't blame them if they don't want to, but to get them to open up and actually talk man to man to them and hear their fucking. Because I can't imagine some of the crazy stories that they would have. Just absolutely insane.
Well, do you know that Big and Rich song, 8th of November, by Niles Harris?
Yeah.
Rick Bully's friends with him.
Really?
Yeah, he lives out in, I think it's Lead, out by Deadwood.
South Dakota, yeah.
Yeah, and Rick meets up with him every once in a while for a beer when he's out there on his bike.
Interesting.
So.
Yeah, just man, and just a situation like that in Vietnam, like, you know, half the country just fucking hated you for doing what you had to do, you
Right.
know,
Oh, yeah.
what you're supposed to do, and then you're just
what you're
fighting for
drafted
your
to do,
life.
you don't have a choice.
One thing though, I see he's got Carlos Hathcock's name written down there. He would snipe people from helicopters. Like he'd lay on the floor of the helicopter, and
So
one of the things he did that was actually kind of cool. I don't think anybody had ever done it. He put a scope on an M2 50 cal machine gun.
So that's a funny story that you say that, because there's a funny story about Carlos Hathcock that a couple of his I know one, maybe two of his confirmed kills were he had put a scope on this M2 50 cal machine gun, right? And he had been sighting it in this certain area one day in the fucking jungle. He had like found a spot where he could shoot like out to, I don't remember, it was like 500 meters or something. And there was two Viet Cong walked exactly walked across his target where he had been sighting that rifle in the day before. Like walked right through. He's like, I think it was actually, he talked about it in an interview, I think is.
Wow.
But he said, yeah, it was just, you know, he's like, I'm probably one of the luckiest individuals. You know, it's not that I was that good. I was just that lucky to have this number of confirmed kills. But I know he talked about it. He had put this scope on this M2 machine gun, was sighting it out in the jungle.
What caliber would that? Just like a
50 cal.
50 cal?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was a 50 cal machine gun. It was a 50 BMG machine gun.
Sure.
And he had been sighting it in the day before, and there was like Viet Cong walked right across his target where he had been sighting it in the day before, and he was like, well, this is too easy, you know, just ding, done. But
oh man,
I can't remember if it was him or Chuck Mawhinney. I'm pretty sure it was one of the two, but he took on this, it was like basically a suicide mission. They wanted this NVA general dead. And it took him, I want to say, like 4 days to crawl into range of this camp where they were at.
I think this was...
so what do you do in a situation like that?
Hathcock. I think that was...
Was it Mawhinney?
I think so.
How do you like?
But he crawled. Let me finish because it gets nuts. So he basically made himself a bush, like dressed up like a tree. Had grass and everything, and he just crawled centimeter by centimeter,
like an inch an hour.
Moved with the wind,
right?
And got into range. Took this guy out, and he said at one point, I think the guy, when they were looking for him, the guy stepped on his hand or something like that.
Yeah.
But he made it back out. Everybody thought he was going to go in there and just die.
My question is, how the fuck do you? 4 days, you got to piss, you got to shit. What do you do?
Guess.
Piss your pants,
yourself?
shit your
Piss
pants.
Yourself?
Yeah.
Huh.
That's not an
That's
uncommon
real.
thing.
That's real uncomfortable at the end of 4 days.
What are you gonna do? I'm 6 miles into enemy territory.
That's why I was asking.
You know what? I'm 2 days in. I gotta shit. I can't do it. Let me just stand up.
That's why I was asking. I'm just,
Yeah, they definitely shit themselves.
Here's a question. Do you just wait as long as you possibly can so it's horrible, or you just go when you got to go?
At that point, I feel like you probably just go when you get it. And probably, honestly, I don't know if he did shit for 4 days. Because you think about it, those MREs,
they weren't MREs.
Those are binders.
They weren't MREs back then. They were sea rats. They came in a can.
They're sea rations, yeah, but they're still the same thing. They're binders.
So you think he was?
They're
eating?
made
You
to
think he
make
was
you
eating?
not shit.
You think he was eating those 4 days?
Last time I ate one, I shit like a clabber goose. It was horrible.
You think he was eating those 4 days, or he just didn't eat?
No, he just didn't eat those 4 days. But I'm saying leading up to those 4 days, because those like MREs and like sea rations and shit like that, they're dietarily, comprised of things that are supposed to make you not shit.
Cheese.
You want to know something cool?
Cheese, peanut butter, crackers. You are.
I read this in a book in high school. I think the book was called "The Cat."
Take a look.
The Cat from
It's in a
Hue.
book.
The cat what?
The Cat from Hue. Hue.
Mm-hmm.
It was about the Vietnam War. And one of the things the author had in there was how they would heat up water or sea rats out in the field. They would get in their pack and they would tear off a little chunk of C4 and light it. And he said it either worked or you blew your fingers off. I'm like, holy shit, I'm not.
Yeah, make sure you don't grab too big of a pinch.
I don't want any part of that shit.
Interesting.
That is interesting. Toad, I actually have a book for you that I want to reread before I give it to you.
What's it called?
Kama Sutra.
No. I don't remember. The last time I read it, I think I was 12 years old.
What was it about?
Vietnam.
I've probably read it.
Possibly. But it was actually a book of my grandfather's that I.
Yeah, it's
he
interesting.
gave to me
and just I liked you guys
move it.
I like to move it. You guys ever watch that Grand Tour, the offshoot of Top Gear?
Yeah.
Yep.
They just came out with a new special here a month or so ago. And what they did instead of cars is they took boats.
And hose?
No. And they did the Mekong all the way through
the Mekong River.
And Jeremy Clarkson's boat, he paid $100,000, or whoever does the show paid $100,000, and had an authentic replication of a riverboat, Vietnam era riverboat. Wasn't a PT boat, or was it a PT boat? No, that was World War II. Anyway.
Regardless, yeah.
And they were jet powered, and the jets in the original ones were made by Jacuzzi.
Really?
Yeah, that's what he was saying. It was
Crazy.
really cool, and they were so fast, and they had this system on them where if you were going full bore, because the drivers of those boats would always go full bore, because it's the only way with those jets you got any steering.
Right.
And
it's just like a jet ski. If you let off the throttle, you don't go anywhere if you try and turn.
Well, it has this thing on it where you flip a switch, and it instantly switches from the back jets to the front jets, and it'll stop you in like 30 feet.
Wow.
And it's just really, really cool to watch. But yeah, and then they stopped, and they stopped at some battlefield areas and whatnot, and had some stories and, like Vietnam flashback things that they did. But yeah, it was interesting. I've watched it 4 or 5 times. But and my dad, we'll talk to him. You've been here? Yep, been here. Yep, been here. He's got a funny story he likes to tell. My dad, he was in the Navy from 70 to 85. And they were pulling into Da Nang Harbor, which the North Vietnamese had mined, I believe. And his captain in the ship he was on had been the XO on the Enterprise aircraft carrier, which was in the area. So Dad was down on the ship, and I believe in the engine room, and he said the captain, the former XO, had one of his flyboys fly over and break the sound barrier or something like that. So they thought they'd hit a fucking mine.
Yeah.
Dad goes, "You've never seen so many dudes up on the deck running back and forth trying to see where the hole was."
Panicking. Oh, God, we've been hit.
That's a real dick move.
Hey, at least he had a sense of humor.
Yeah.
What a douche.
Johnson, I hear you got a good douche of the week for us. What do you got?
I found a pretty good one this week. It comes out of Canada.
Oh, Canadian douche.
Yeah, you got to read it like you're Canadian, eh?
Yeah, so the Clark County up there in Vancouver, Canada, this guy said he was sorry, so, that's the end of the story there. So, but there was a burglar, which I know is a hard word for you to say. Burglar.
Burglar. Yeah.
So there's a burglar. Notice the spelling.
Burglar.
B-U-R-G-L.
Looks like burglar to me. Burglar.
But there was a burglar who broke into an escape room. Boy, just channeling my inner Sam.
Yeah.
This guy broke into an escape room, couldn't find his way out, had to call 911 on himself to get out of the escape room.
Why does one break into an escape room?
I think he was hammered, basically.
Confused about where he was?
Yeah, like opened a door, got in, didn't realize. So the door that he came in was actually like a hidden door inside the room.
And it closed.
It had,
reopen it.
Yeah, it had. So you came in from the exterior of the building. You pushed the door open. It opened. The door closed behind you. It was a bookshelf. So you had a bookshelf attached to the back of the door in the escape
Couldn't figure
room.
out how to open it again.
Couldn't figure out how to get out of there.
Dumb probably didn't have a flashlight, so it was probably dark in there, so he couldn't figure anything out.
So he got into the room. And it was like he could get out of the escape room, but he couldn't get out of the building. He was in the offices. Like he was in the fridge, took a beer, found a cell phone, used the cell phone to call 911 on himself to get out of there.
Well, if the guy was smart, he just would have stayed in there the whole
Obviously
time until
wasn't.
they walked in the next day and been like, "You motherfuckers, you just left me in here," and be all pissed off. And,
right.
And that would have been that.
So the three things that he ended up taking while he was in this room were, one, a cell phone, which he ended up using to call 911 on himself. The second thing was a beer out of one of the refrigerators, right? You know what the third thing was? That he had on his person. I will give all of you $100 if you can come up like
a dildo.
No.
Cookies.
No.
Box,
Come on, Box.
what's your guess?
What's your guess? The last thing that was found on this guy's person when the cops got there. A cell phone, a beer, the things that he took from this place. A cell phone, a beer, and what?
I don't know, man. A hammer.
A TV remote.
What?
This is what this guy picked up and put in his
he
pocket.
had that fucking same TV and he lost his remote. He's like, "God, this is the remote I've been looking for."
Boy, this is just best day ever. Yeah, so the Clark County Sheriffs responded to the place, the escape room place, looking for the burglar who reportedly took a cell phone, TV remote, and a beer from the fridge prior to calling authorities on himself. So this guy, yeah,
we're a real smart individual there.
I was watching the video, and they showed the guy, the surveillance video. The guy comes in the door from the outside of the building. It shuts, and you can see the bookcase on the door, and he's kind of rooting around in the room and stuff, and is kind of moving around through the offices. And then he goes back to like where he came from, and you can see just the utter confusion. Like, well, what the hell? I'm pretty sure I came in from over here. Just like, totally lost. It's awesome. Yeah. So this guy ended up having to use the cell phone that he found in this place to call 911 on himself to get out of there.
I hope he had to explain that one to his mom. What a tool.
Right? Yeah.
Well,
man. Good stuff.
Well, guys, I think we got everything covered. We did all our segments right. I didn't forget any this time. Yeah, we're good.
Surprisingly.
Right. Well, it's been a hell of a fun episode. We had a good one. I enjoyed it thoroughly, as I usually do. But yeah, keep an eye out for our videos that are upcoming. Check out our Facebook and our YouTube. We'll be posting them. We got some fun ones about artificial intelligence. Hopefully, maybe a little bit. Yeah,
I think I would like to hear a little bit more from the viewers on strange things that they want us to talk about, weird topics that they think we should cover.
Right.
'Cause we haven't heard from you guys in quite a while on topics that you want us to cover on the podcast. You kind of just let us go wild, and that's not always a good idea. So I think
this is what you get.
Right. I really think you guys should come up with, give us a couple of really off the wall weird topics for us to cover. Like today we were talking, we kind of went off on a tangent about
Terminator
and artificial intelligence, and I'm interested to hear your guys' thoughts on the artificial intelligence thing, but I want to hear some more weird. How do you guys feel about like conspiracy theory stuff?
Well, yeah,
like,
we've covered some of that
we've
shit.
talked about some of that
Conspiracy
stuff.
theories. I want to talk about ghost stories at some point, like
ghost stories,
like a paranormal activity type shit. I find that it's pretty interesting.
I've got a kind of funny story about that.
As long as it's real short.
It kind of is. So a lot of people say that like when you pass away, you come back as a cardinal. Bird.
Okay.
Cardinal. That's
never heard that, but all right.
I guess that's a common story. Well, my dad was kind of a dick. He was kind of a, he just liked to be an asshole, just like me. Just to be fun. He liked to be an asshole for fun, just to bug everybody else. So there's a blue jay in my front yard because I live in my dad's old house, right?
Mm-hmm.
And there's a blue jay in the front yard that's always around the exact same time that Dad used to every morning. He'd go outside and have a cigarette outside, like while he let the dog out and stuff, 5:30, 6 o'clock in the morning. There's a blue jay that is just the noisiest, most annoying bastard outside every morning at about that same time. And it's like, you know what? They say you come back as a cardinal, but my dad would be a dick enough to come back as an annoying ass, noisy blue jay. What a prick, and just to annoy me. Because I'll go outside and let the dogs out about the same time, 5:30, 6 o'clock, and all I hear is meh, meh, this blue jay, and he's always flying around being all crazy and shit. And it's like, yeah, that would be my dad. Just just to be a dick. Come back as a blue jay.
Well, so. I didn't know him, but if he's anything like you, I could see where he liked to be an asshole.
Yeah. Yep.
So yeah, if you guys want to hear something from us, let us know. Yeah, it's been a good one. It's been fun. It's been real. We'll be back in 2 weeks, of course. We do lives every other Wednesday on weeks that we don't release our podcast on Facebook Live. So come and hang out with us and bullshit with us.
And if you want to see more from us, share us with your friends.
Absolutely.
Share.
That's the biggest thing. Biggest thing. If you enjoy our content, if you enjoy our shit, share us with your buddies that will enjoy us too. So, anyways, it's been real. It's been fun. Appreciate you guys sticking around for as long as you have. And I guess until we talk to you next time. Remember, life's short, live free. God bless. Cheers.
Heck yeah.